Republicans across the country are instituting policy changes that limit voting, pursue fictional claims of fraud, and advance their culture war narratives. Today, we look at the conservative front in 3 states: Virginia, Texas, and Florida. Virginia's new Republican Attorney General, Jason Mears, quickly enacted drastic changes to the Commonwealth's legal office, firing staff and reversing the previous administration's decisions. As one of his first acts in office, Mears fired an investigator for the January 6 committee from his day job. Tim Heaphy worked as the counsel for the University of Virginia for 3 years, previously served as U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Virginia, and conducted an independent review of the violent Charlottesville white supremacy rally in 2017. When asked about firing Heaphy, Mears said his work for the January 6 committee had nothing to do with his decision to fire the UVA attorney.
Did Tim Heaphy's role helping to investigate on the January 6th Select Committee, did that play into your decision to fire him from UVA?
Zero.
Nothing at all?
Nope, had nothing to do with it.
Do you support the work of the January 6th Select Committee?
I'm fine with anybody looking at January 6th, but it had zero to do with the fact that our team decided to make a change.
What was the reason?
I'm not going to get into internal policy decisions, but it was internal, had nothing to do with any work on January 6th.
Mears also fired about 30 staff members from the AG's office in what his spokeswoman called a restructuring. According to Virginia Senate President Louise Lucas, this may have included the entire Civil Rights Division. Mears launched 2 politically charged investigations within hours of taking office, one into the Commonwealth's Parole Board and the other into Loudoun County Public Schools. The Virginia Parole Board broke the law when they let out murderers, rapists, and cop killers early on their sentences without notifying the victims, the new AG said. Loudoun County School District is being investigated for allegedly covering up a sexual assault by one of their students. The story went viral in the right-wing media sphere last year, but no evidence of an actual cover-up has been made public. Then, Mears set his sights on vaccine policies, telling public colleges and universities in the Commonwealth that they cannot require students to get the coronavirus vaccine. He also urged the Commonwealth's highest court to leave Governor Youngkin's order banning K-12 mask mandates in place. Virginia Democrats are lining up in opposition to Governor Youngkin's pick for Secretary of Natural Resources, former coal lobbyist and Trump EPA Administrator Andrew Wheeler. Under his influence, the EPA disbanded advisory scientific boards, rolled back Clean Water Act protections, allowed toxic coal ash dumps, and rescinded the Obama-era Clean Power Plan. State Republicans are holding up the reappointment of State Corporation Commission Angela Navarro in retaliation, hoping to pressure Democrats to reverse their opposition to Wheeler. Now we move to Texas, where officials are fighting to keep their voter fraud theories alive, while one Senate Republican testifies against his colleagues in federal court. Top state GOP leaders are pressuring the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals to reverse its December decision that limited the AG's power to unilaterally prosecute election cases. The court ruled 8-1 that Paxton can only get involved in election cases when asked by a district or county attorney, a ruling that the AG said would give Soros-funded district attorneys the sole power to decide whether election fraud has occurred in Texas. Paxton appeared on MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell's show last week to urge the public to pressure the judges to revisit the case.
I would say contact the Court of Criminal Appeals, call them out by name. I mean, you can look them up. There's 8 of them that voted the wrong way. Call them, send mail, send email.
The Travis County District Attorney's Office determined that Paxton violated the state's open records law by withholding communications related to his trip to D.C. preceding the January 6 insurrection. Paxton ignored the 4-day deadline imposed by the DA, insisting that he hasn't violated any law. This is a fake controversy drummed up by hard-left local officials because they want to reignite hysteria about the Attorney General's political speech on January 6, 2020, which was not an official state activity, his office said in a statement. Representative Dan Crenshaw sent out unsolicited, pre-filled out mail-in ballot applications after supporting a law to ban the practice. The law, passed last year after Democrats twice boycotted the legislature, bans election officials from sending out the same applications. Crenshaw's mailer includes a pre-filled mail-in application and instructions that tell the recipient to simply sign, stamp, and mail it, and to be sure to vote for Dan Crenshaw when the ballot comes. Meanwhile, a Texas senator submitted a sworn statement to the District Court of Western Texas that his colleagues broke the law during the latest redistricting cycle. State Senator Kel Seliger, who chaired the Senate's redistricting committee last year, also filmed a video deposition that was played before the court last week. Having participated in the 2011 and 2013 Senate Select Redistricting Committee proceedings, and having read the prior federal court decision regarding Senate District 10, it was obvious to me that the renewed effort to dismantle District 10 violated the Voting Rights Act and U.S. Constitution. Finally, in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis continues to push culture war issues in the hopes of driving up his support for a potential 2024 White House run. The Florida Senate Education Committee approved a bill pushed by Governor DeSantis that would prohibit public schools from making people feel discomfort or guilt based on their race, sex, or national origin. DeSantis referred to critical race theory when he announced the proposed legislation at a media event in December, saying the proposed law would help keep CRT out of the schools and out of the workplace, calling it state-sanctioned racism that creates a hostile work environment. A bill that would ban all discussion of gender identity and sexual orientation in the classroom is speeding through the Florida legislature. House Bill 1557, also known as the Don't Say Gay bill, would prohibit lessons on LGBTQ history, oppression, and any support for LGBTQ students. This would erase LGBTQ history and culture from lesson plans, and it sends a chilling message to LGBTQ young people and communities, said Melanie Willingham-Jaggers, the executive director of the national LGBTQ youth advocacy group GLSEN. A Florida professor's civil rights lecture for teachers was canceled amid the right-wing hysteria over critical race theory. College professor J. Michael Butler was scheduled to deliver a seminar called The Long Civil Rights Movement to Osceola County School District teachers. According to the National Council for History Education, district officials were particularly concerned about the seminar's use of primary source materials, including decades-old political cartoons about the Great Migration and Plessy v. Ferguson, the Supreme Court decision that established segregation's separate but equal doctrine, as well as images of contemporary civil rights protests like Colin Kaepernick kneeling on a football field. Orange County Medical Director Dr. Raul Pino was suspended by the Florida Health Department for encouraging staff to get vaccinated and boosted for COVID-19. Pino sent an email to employees earlier this month saying that less than half had received 2 shots and calling them irresponsible. A spokesperson for the health department defended the decision to suspend Pino as protecting personal medical choice. Governor DeSantis has asked the state legislature for $5.7 million to create a dedicated police force, under his power, to investigate election fraud. If approved, the Office of Election Crimes and Security would give DeSantis his own 52-member squad of officers to apprehend anyone suspected of casting an illegal vote. Unprecedented power for the executive office to wield with no oversight. Thank you for watching. If this video has been at all helpful or informative, please consider supporting me on Patreon.